My name is Dennis Kainen. I am from the 11th Judicial Circuit, Miami-Dade County. I practice in the firm of Weisberg, Kainen, Mark, PL in Miami, and I practice in the areas of criminal defense and tax controversy. I represent people with tax problems, people fighting the IRS, criminal and civil tax. I believe it's important to be involved in the Florida bar because we, as a profession, are the lifeblood of the bar. In other words, our sections, the criminal law section, tax section, family law section, whatever is your particular specialization or concentration, cannot operate, cannot thrive without the work that all of us do as volunteers within the bar. The Supreme Court, which heads up the Florida bar, is only comprised of 7 people. So it's the thousands of volunteers who help draft the rules, who help and discuss how to make this a better place for our constituents, for the folks of Florida, cannot exist without the volunteers. If you want to go ahead and think that there's a particular area in your practice, perhaps you're a family law lawyer, you're a tax lawyer, and you think, you know, that rule should be changed. I think the way depositions are done could be a little different. How do you do that? You do it through service in the bar. And that's why I think it's so important to be involved in the Florida bar. Remember, we regulate ourselves. So if somebody misbehaves or somebody does something they should have done differently, it is only through the work of the Florida bar and the service that all of us do that those good things can be accomplished. The greatest challenge in our profession, there's so many of us. We're going to be close to 100,000 Florida bar lawyers in the next number of years. How do we all make a living? How does technology affect what's going on, not only in the outside world, but within our profession? How do we communicate as lawyers? How does such a large family of lawyers not lose its humanity? How do we all learn to respect each other, though there's so many of us? These are some of the challenges that are not only in the future, but are things that we have to work on now. And it's only through the organized bar, through the men and women of the Florida bar, that we can accomplish these things. Why did I become a lawyer? I've always wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a lawyer since I was a little boy. My son Alon recently graduated high school, and when he was a little boy, when he would talk about what I do for a living, and it brings a smile as I figure he's such a big kid now, is he used to say, "My poppy, he helps people." And I think I've always identified more with the little guy or gal than I have with the big company or the government. We live in a country where we resolve our disputes in the courtroom. We don't resolve them in the alleyway. And there's so many wonderful countries around the world whose economies are expanding. At the end of the day, they'll never be as successful if people cannot resolve their disputes, not on the streets, but in the ballot box and in the courtroom. Big companies, if they're arguing over contracts, how do they get that done? I've always thought that the greatness of our country is the rule of law. Of course, I didn't think about all these things when I was a little boy. I identified with the folks that I saw on TV that were lawyers. But as I've matured, I've come to the realization that one man or one woman can make a difference. The largest government, the most powerful entity, can be destroyed with the words of a lawyer through the cross-examination of a witness that's not telling the truth. And at the end of the day, it's really trying to do what's right. So I became a lawyer, notwithstanding all the hard work and the aggravation and the frustration that we all go through in our daily practice, because I really wanted to help people. And I think at the end of the day that one man and woman can.